Now, unfortunately for us, testosterone actually thickens your vocal cords, which makes them vibrate at a lower frequency. So after you've hit puberty and your voice changed, that's when your vocal cords start to thicken. And once that's happened, it's irreversible. So unless you were lucky enough to get on anti-androgens before you were 12 or 13, you probably have irreversibly thickened vocal cords, like me. That means that, we just have to work a little harder to find the right voice. I also want to talk for a minute about voice surgery. Basically, there's a couple of procedures, and what they do is they attempt to raise the pitch of the voice by stretching those two white muscles we just saw. The idea being it's kind of like a guitar string. If you tighten it up, it makes it vibrate at a higher pitch. These procedures are generally not successful, and I do not recommend voice surgery. If for some reason you do decide to do it, it's not going to be a magic cure-all. You're still going to have to do exercises like this both before your surgery and after your surgery if you hope to have any success. This is not something where, you can just pop some pills or lie down on a table and have your voice magically corrected. This is going to take some practice, but I know you can do it. So with that, let's get into some lessons. The first things I want to do is sort of familiarize you with the muscles that we just looked at in your throat. For these exercises, you're going to need a couple of things. One, go pour yourself a glass of water and, pause the tape and get that done. And the other thing you're going to need is a small vanity mirror if you have one. If you don't, you can just do this in your bathroom mirror and it'll be fine. The first series of exercises we're going to do are going to sort of help you feel where these muscles are that we're going to be working with. All of these exercises have no tone to them. In other words, you're not going to be making a ah sound or anything like that. It's all just going to be without tone. So the first thing I want you to try to do is yawn. And I know it's kind of hard to yawn on demand, but maybe if you watch me do it, it'll make you do it. And what you want to do is, as you're doing it, press on either side of your trachea. And you're going to feel that your entire voice box and trachea actually moves up and down as you yawn. Ready? And then you'll feel at the end when you swallow that everything is compressing together. Let's try that again. What's happening when you're yawning is you're actually opening your throat as far as it can go. If you were making a tone as you were yawning, it would be an ah sort of sound. It's like, in fact, if you did like this, hear how it sounds like an ah kind of sound? It's because your throat is so open that that's the only vowel sound that you can make at that time. Okay, what we're going to do with our mirror is we're going to look down into our throat just to sort of see what's going on. Now, you're not going to be able to see your vocal cords because you'd have to press down your tongue awfully hard to see all the way down that far. Your vocal cords are actually right about here in your throat, and that's a pretty long ways down. But you can see the top of the voice box contracting when you do higher notes and expanding when you do lower notes. So this can just help you sort of feel those muscles and understand what's happening when you change your pitch in your voice. So what we're going to do is look into the mirror, open our mouths as wide as we can, and press down on our tongue and just sort of watch what's happening in the back of our mouths as we do these notes. Ready? The next couple of exercises we're going to do are a little gross, but they help you to understand the mechanism that's going on in your throat. And it has to do with the way that we clear phlegm from our throats, because what you're doing when you're doing that is actually constricting your air passage in certain places, and it's that constriction forces the phlegm out of that area. So the first thing I want to do is just try clearing our throat a couple times. And you're going to hear me do it a few different ways, and I want you to try to emulate those, because if you clear your throat down low, it's at a very different place than when you clear your throat up high. And I'll show you right now. All of those you'll feel is actually happening in a different place in your throat. So just try a few of those with me, and just try to get a sense for where that's happening in your throat and the muscles you're using to constrict your throat in those places. So just try a few of those for a while, and then get back to me. What I want you to do is like almost pretend like you're getting, like a loogie up. So you're going to go like this. What that's doing is it's actually constricting your throat in a smooth pattern from the bottom to the top. And when you do it, you can actually feel all the muscles that we're going to need to be using. So even though it's gross, let's do it along. Ready? The next thing we're going to do, you'll need your glass of water for, because we're going to gargle. When you're gargling, what happens is you are using these muscles that we were just playing with to clear phlegm. And gargling helps soothe your throat because you're getting liquids to the top part of your throat as well as the bottom part of your throat by relaxing different muscles. And you'll feel it, I think, as we gargle. So we're just going to do this a few times. So let's just take a sip and gargle along with me. Ready? That was fun. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is a little exercise that involves some tone. We're going to be doing a G sound. And you'll notice that when you do a G, that it's way in the back of your throat. It's because you're using the very back of your tongue to seal your voice box for just a minute and then letting air out. And that's what makes that G sound. And if you do it in certain ways, as we're going to practice, you can actually feel the muscles that we're going to be playing with. So, when you say gift like that, it's up in your palate, like ge, ge, ge. But we want to do G. And as you do it, you're going to try to open up your throat. So, it's like this. G, 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 G. And if you keep doing it, you can feel the difference between gift and G. Gift, G, gift, G, 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 G. And that's why when you're drinking, sometimes it sounds like G, 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 G. If you can make that sound, you're actually using the muscles that you need to work with. So let's try that. Ready? And you can hear how there's different feel to each one of those. We're going to go into some of that resonance stuff a little later, but that's just to help you feel those muscles. Okay, the next exercises we're going to do are breathing exercises. Because we're going to be breathing in and out a lot, it's important that you're sitting down for these. And if you start to feel lightheaded, just stop for a minute. Just, let yourself get back to normal. There's no reason to rush through these. Don't hyperventilate. Just take your time. The first thing we're going to do is blow with our hands in front of our face, because we're going to feel different ways that breath comes from our lungs. your voice should be supported by your lungs. So we've got our shoulders back, chin up. We're going to breathe in deep through our nose, and we're going to blow on our hand like we're trying to cool some soup. Ready? And you feel how that's cold, right? Now we're going to do the same thing, except now we're going to try to warm our hand like it's a cold day. That's going to involve going. Now you notice when you do that the breath is very warm. And the reason is because you're pushing a lot of volume of air up through your lungs and through your throat, which is in a very open position. When you're going ah, that's why when you're at the dentist, they have you say ah, because you're opening your throat as wide as you can. So let's try that again. That's going to be really important for some future exercises. Okay?